Welcome back to our channel. Hope you have relaxing moments listening to stories. We invite you to embrace the moment by liking the video, sharing your reflections in the comments, and subscribing to remain connected with our latest narratives.
It was one of those serene, tranquil evenings when the world seemed to align perfectly. My husband, Andrew, and I had shared nearly 25 years together, and as the years passed, our lives intertwined into a rhythm that felt both soothing and familiar. The thrill had not faded away. Absolutely not. Yet, life, with its subtle trials, had intricately entwined us in a connection that felt as natural as breathing. Andrew was my anchor, the one who understood the depths of my soul like no other. Yet, on that night when his friend, his cherished companion, spoke words that took me by surprise, the very foundation of what I believed about our bond, and about who I was, began to transform in unexpected ways. It was a Friday, and the house embraced a warm, inviting atmosphere, with the soft hum of the dishwasher creating a soothing backdrop, while the flicker of candlelight danced gently, casting tender shadows on the walls. We gathered for an intimate dinner at home, just the three of us, Andrew, myself, and Mark, Andrew's lifelong friend who has always woven himself into the fabric of our lives. Mark had a calming presence, always making people feel heard and valued in conversations. As time passed, I began to feel a deep connection with Mark, almost as if he were part of my own family. Yet, on this enchanting night, there was an undeniable change in him. A subtle change lingered in the air, an elusive sensation that beckoned to me, gently pulling at the fringes of my consciousness. Andrew had always been the heart of the gathering, radiating joy and mirth, his vibrant voice enveloping the space in a comforting embrace. Mark possessed a gentle, introspective demeanor, yet when he chose to share his thoughts, his words captivated those around him. I couldn't quite understand why it was unfolding at this moment, but as I gazed across the dinner table at Mark, an undeniable feeling stirred within me. Disengaged. I set the feeling aside, attributing it to the gentle warmth of the wine and the relaxed atmosphere of the evening, yet as the night unfolded, that delicate tension continued to grow. It was nothing specific, yet it stirred something deep within. No overt conflict or sharp exchanges, yet each time Mark looked my way, there was a profound intensity in his gaze, a silent connection lingering between us. I attempted to push it aside, to immerse myself in the dialogue, yet it lingered like a subtle whisper, drawing my awareness closer with each passing moment. Andrew's gaze would drift between Mark and me, a silent observation that lingered in the air, unspoken yet palpable. He was as he always was, wandering through the gentle rhythm of the evening, unaware of the subtle changes stirring just below the surface. In that moment, everything changed. As Mark parted his lips, a shift enveloped the air, transforming the atmosphere around us. We had just savored dessert, a rich chocolate mousse, Andrew's favorite, and the conversation began to wane, the gentle warmth of the evening wrapping us in a soothing silence. That's when Mark spoke up, his voice soft yet firm, resonating with a depth that caused me to halt mid-sip of my wine. "You know," Mark said, his gaze steady and warm, "I've always seen you as more than just Andrew's wife." I stood still, the glass of wine in my hand now feeling like a weighty secret. Andrew was only partially engaged, his attention drifting to his phone, yet I sensed Mark's words settle softly around us, resonating with a profound and undeniable truth. His gaze held a sense of thoughtfulness, as if he had something important to say. "Could you clarify what you mean?" I inquired, my voice unexpectedly calm, even as my heart started to quicken. Mark reclined in his chair, his fingers gently caressing the rim of his wine glass. "I can't quite put it into words," he murmured, a soft smile playing at the corners of his mouth. There has always been a unique bond between us, wouldn't you agree? I glanced at Andrew, yearning for a hint of connection, but he remained lost in the glow of his phone, unaware of my silent plea. It was as if I had entered a dream, where time lingered, and I found myself at the precipice of something profound, caught between the urge to move closer and the instinct to hold back. "Is that you, Mark?" I began to speak, yet the words eluded me. What words could I possibly find? Should I turn away from the essence of his words, or was it a reality that demanded my recognition? Thoughts swirled within me, each potential scenario dancing vividly in my imagination. "I didn't intend it that way," Mark quickly clarified, noticing the unease in my expression. "It's not as if I've ever yearned for anything. I've always held you in high regard, truly recognized your essence. You are an incredible person with so much depth. Beyond just your responsibilities. You are Hugh." He lingered, allowing the words to float softly in the space that separated us. It felt like a curtain had been drawn back, revealing a deep truth, something that had always existed beneath the surface, yet had remained unspoken. I had always envisioned myself as Andrew's partner, the one who stood by him, the one who helped weave the fabric of our lives together. But when Mark spoke those words, peeling away all the labels to truly see me, it stirred something profound within. In that fleeting moment, the room was enveloped in a profound silence. Andrew's voice finally reached me, but it felt like a whisper from afar, as if he were lost in another world altogether. "What's happening? You both seem to carry a weight of emotion in your expressions. How about we indulge in a little game together? How about we indulge in a game of cards together?" I offered a faint smile, my heart continuing to race within me. Mark turned to Andrew, nodding in agreement, yet his gaze, those eyes that had just revealed something so personal, held on to me for a moment longer. In that quiet moment, I sensed a bond, a flicker, something surprising yet impossible to ignore. The remainder of the night unfolded in a haze of lingering sensations. We shared a game of cards, our laughter mingling in the air as we drifted through conversations that held no weight. Yet, I couldn't dispel the sensation that a change had occurred among us, an unvoiced understanding that lingered in the air, palpable and profound. As the evening drew to a close, Andrew and Mark exchanged their farewells, and I stood at the door, my gaze lingering on their departing figures. I stepped back into the house, a shiver of anticipation coursing through me as if I had just crossed the threshold into a realm of uncharted emotions. The night still held its secrets for me. The journey was just starting to unfold. The following morning, I stirred from slumber, enveloped by a lingering sense of disquiet, as though the very earth had subtly transformed during my dreams. I had always considered myself someone who held the reins tightly on my emotions, my thoughts, my very existence. Yet now, a sense of uncertainty enveloped everything. Mark's words lingered in my mind, resonating with a haunting familiarity, each echo weaving itself more intricately into my thoughts. "You are an incredible person with so much depth beyond just your responsibilities. You are uniquely you." It was a simple sentence, yet it resonated like a heartfelt revelation. It felt as though he uncovered a part of me that had remained hidden for so long. I found myself in a state of uncertainty, caught in a web of feelings. Was he merely offering me a kind word, or was there a deeper meaning behind it? What made it feel so deeply meaningful? I had always been known simply as Andrew's wife, and perhaps that satisfied some, but it seemed as though Mark was presenting me with an opportunity for something deeper. It carried an exhilarating sense of risk. I turned in bed, my gaze drifting to Andrew lying next to me. He lay there, lost in dreams, his serene face a beautiful contradiction to the turmoil swirling within me. I hesitated, not wanting to intrude upon his peace. He exuded a serene presence in the mornings, a sense of deep connection to the moment. I am drawn to the way he moves through life with such grace and ease. But what about me? My mind was entwined in a web of reflections, lost in the haze of the previous night's events. I attempted to release it, to gently set those thoughts aside in the depths of my mind. The day stretched before me, filled with possibilities, leaving no space for lingering uncertainties or daydreams. Yet, as I endeavored to immerse myself in the simple rituals of making coffee and preparing breakfast, the heaviness of what had transpired enveloped me more deeply. I found myself lingering on Mark's words, savoring their meaning, seeking to understand the depths of his intentions. Yet, whenever I attempted to make sense of it, the warmth of his gaze remained, a memory imprinted upon my very being. As the morning unfolded, a lingering feeling settled within me, whispering that something had shifted between Mark and me. It transcended mere flattery. It was an acknowledgement of a profound truth, a part of me I had yet to embrace fully. A part of me pondered whether he had glimpsed a facet of my being that I had yet to recognize, a facet hidden beneath layers of time and obligation. Yet, it transcended that, didn't it? It was in the depth of his gaze, the way his words transformed my perception of who I am. In that moment, I experienced a profound sense of recognition that had eluded me for far too long. And it filled me with a deep sense of unease. As the clock approached noon, I felt a gentle urge to reach out to my sister Laura. She possessed an uncanny ability to pierce through my haze, providing insights that resonated deeply, even when life seemed like an intricate web of chaos. I felt a deep urge to share, to release the weight that lingered within me. Yet, as I reached for the phone, a moment of uncertainty washed over me. I found myself at a loss for where to start. How do you express the feelings that your husband's best friend has stirred within you? Something that took you by surprise. Greetings. Laura's voice flowed through the receiver, enveloping me in its warmth and familiarity. Hey, it's me, I said, my voice filled with a subtle tension. I feel the urge to share something important. What's happening? She inquired, her voice softening with a hint of worry. Your tone seems a bit different. What transpired? I inhaled slowly, feeling a gentle flutter of uncertainty about how to begin. It's Mark, a close companion of Andrew. Last night, he shared something that I can't quite put into words, yet it lingers in my mind, stirring emotions I can't shake off. A moment of silence lingered on the other end of the line, and then Laura's voice emerged softly, each word measured and deliberate. What were his words? I gently shut my eyes, the words returning to me with an unexpected vividness. He remarked that I was more than just Andrew's wife. He perceived the essence of who I truly am, beyond the roles of a wife or a mother. Is it really me? Laura paused, her thoughts swirling as she absorbed my words. That's an unusual remark to make, particularly if it wasn't meant in a light-hearted manner. I found myself at a loss for words, gently shaking my head, though she remained unaware of my silent gesture. It felt far too real to be a mere jest. It was as if he was perceiving me in a manner that had been absent for far too long. Not even Andrew could stir the depths of my heart. And it simply resonated with me, you know? I find myself at a loss with that. Laura released a gentle breath, a whisper of her thoughts lingering in the air. Listen, I can't quite grasp what's happening with Mark, but one thing is clear: you are uniquely you. And at times, when you've shared a bond for as long as you have, it can be effortless to overlook that truth. To immerse oneself in the roles of a wife and a mother, to surrender the essence of who you were before embracing these identities. I don't want to lose that, I murmured, feeling the depth of her words envelop me. Yet, I never anticipated it would emerge from him. It feels as though I'm awakening to a new perspective, as if someone else is revealing the depths of my being to me. And it stirs something deep within. Perhaps it's the right moment to pause and reflect, Laura proposed. Allow yourself the grace of time, a gentle pause to reflect and explore your thoughts. There's no need to have all the answers at this moment. Allow it to linger for a moment. I nodded softly, a silent agreement lingering in the air between us. Her words resonated deeply, yet they couldn't soothe the emotions that lingered within. I will make an effort. Thank you, Laura. As we exchanged our farewells, I ended the call, enveloped in a warmth that mingled with a deeper sense of uncertainty. I understood that I had to delve into my feelings, to truly embrace the significance of what had transpired. Yet, an undeniable feeling lingered within me, whispering that a transformation was on the horizon. As the day unfolded, my thoughts drifted to Mark more often than I anticipated. His words, his gaze, everything about him felt like it had woven itself into my very being. I reassured myself that I was merely caught in a web of thoughts, that it was nothing more than a passing instance. Yet, beneath the surface, I sensed it was something deeper. The question hung softly, a delicate whisper in the atmosphere. Was this a gentle nudge from within, urging me to face something deeper, or was it merely a figment of my imagination? That evening, when Andrew returned, I found myself unsure of how to meet his gaze. How can I express to him that I am grappling with something unrelated to him, yet it still feels intertwined in some way? How can I mention Mark in a way that feels natural? Unusual. I turned to my familiar refuge when the world became too intricate. I concealed it deep within. I smiled softly, brushed my lips against his cheek, and feigned that all was perfectly in place. Yet as the evening unfolded, I realized that I could no longer maintain the facade indefinitely. The change lingered softly in the space between us, an undeniable presence that wouldn't fade away by itself. I found myself at a loss, unsure of how to navigate the situation. The days following that night were imbued with a palpable tension that lingered in the air, impossible to overlook. It was subtle, a quiet presence that lingered in the air. It was delicate, like the soft whisper of a current flowing just beneath the surface of all my actions. I moved through my familiar rituals, preparing a meal, tidying up after Andrew, and connecting with the kids. From the surface, everything appeared the same. Yet within me, there was a gentle awakening, an emotion I couldn't quite grasp but found impossible to ignore. It was the way Mark's words began to weave through my mind, stirring something deep within me. I embody so much more than the role of a wife. It lingered in my mind, an irresistible thought that wouldn't fade away. Each time I encountered Andrew, an unfamiliar sense of separation washed over me, as though an invisible barrier had emerged between us, one that had never existed prior. It wasn't that my feelings for him had diminished in any way. Something deep within me had stirred to life. A feeling that had been quietly resting for years. The most challenging aspect was my uncertainty in expressing it. How do you share with your husband that another's words have stirred deep reflections, causing you to reconsider everything you believed about yourself? How do you explain when you start rediscovering yourself in ways you hadn't before? I felt compelled to reach out to Mark. The mere thought sent a delightful shiver through me, yet I knew I couldn't allow this to linger any further. To find clarity in the chaos of what had transpired, I knew I had to face it head-on. I dialed his number, my hand trembling ever so slightly as the phone echoed with each ring. "Greetings." Mark's voice flowed through the line, warm and inviting. "Mark, it's a moment filled with unspoken feelings." "It's Laura." I spoke untruths, the syllables escaping my lips before I could hold them back. In that moment, I found myself uttering words I didn't fully understand, seeking refuge behind a veil of normalcy, yearning for a sense of safety. "Laura, how are you feeling today?" he responded, a touch taken aback yet entirely trusting. I felt the urge to reach out and see how you are doing. Observe the way you were feeling. How is everything unfolding for you?" There was a moment of silence on the line, as if Mark was contemplating the direction of our conversation. "All is well. The demands of work are quite intense right now. You're familiar with the feeling. But I have a feeling your call holds more than just a simple inquiry about my well-being. What's truly happening beneath the surface?" His voice held a gentle strength, suggesting an awareness of the depths that lay hidden beneath the surface. I took a deep breath. Your words from the other night have been lingering in my mind." I confessed, my voice soft and barely audible. "When you shared with me that I wasn't merely Andrew's wife, that I was something deeper." The silence stretched on, and I could feel the rhythm of Mark's breath on the other end, calm and unwavering. "I didn't mean to make things awkward," he said softly, his voice lowering, as if each word was a delicate choice, weighed with unspoken feelings. Yet, my words were sincere. "There is so much more to you, Laura. You have always been that way." I shut my eyes, allowing a tide of feelings to wash over me. The words flowed effortlessly, yet they resonated deeply within the heart. I found myself uncertain about what I truly anticipated, perhaps a gentle apology or a casual dismissal of the moment. Yet, he was recognizing a truth I had long kept hidden, that I deserved to be embraced for my authentic self. "I find myself at a loss," I admitted, my voice quivering with uncertainty. It has been weighing on my mind, Mark. It feels as though I've been immersed in this role for such an extended time that the essence of my true self has slipped away from my grasp. Who I used to be before everything changed." "Laura, I wish to keep things simple for you," Mark said softly, his voice calm yet laced with care. "I want to ensure you feel at ease in our conversation. I've known you for a long time, and my admiration for you runs deep, not merely as Andrew's wife, but for the incredible person you truly are. Never allow anyone to confine you to a single aspect of who you are. You are worthy of so much more." A tightness gripped my throat. It was an odd blend of warmth and unease, a feeling that wrapped around me like a soft embrace yet stirred something deep within. How can something so seemingly ordinary hold such deep significance? I've poured so much of myself into others, striving to be all that they need, that I've lost sight of my own essence. I murmured softly, my words meant for my own heart more than his ears. "I'm uncertain about whether I can embrace everything that lies ahead, Mark. I'm feeling lost and uncertain about my next steps." "You don't have to do anything right now," Mark said, his voice gentle and soothing. "Embrace the moment. Embrace the emotions that stir within you. Don't hide it away." I nodded softly, aware that he was unaware of my silent acknowledgement. "Thank you, Mark. Your presence brings warmth and depth to our connection. Your words resonate deeply with me." We exchanged our farewells, and as I ended the call, I found myself gazing at the phone in my hand, the lingering essence of our conversation enveloping me. A curious blend of relief and trepidation washed over me. I was unprepared for the depth of my vulnerability, the way it laid me bare. Yet, I was aware that Mark's words had awakened a deep feeling within me, one that I could no longer overlook. The following day, I felt compelled to reach out to Andrew. I had evaded it for as long as possible, yet the more I clung to this secret, the more challenging it became to meet his gaze. I needed to speak my truth to him, not only for the well-being of our union but for my own heart as well. We found ourselves at the kitchen table, sipping coffee, as the gentle embrace of the morning wrapped around us. Andrew lifted his gaze from the newspaper, feeling the subtle change in the atmosphere around him. "Are you feeling all right?" he inquired, his voice gentle yet laced with worry. I placed my cup gently on the surface, a shiver coursing through my hands. "I would like to share something with you." Andrew set aside his paper and leaned closer, his gaze entirely focused on me. "What's happening?" I inhaled deeply. "It's about Mark, a presence that stirs something deep within. He whispered something to me the other night, a lingering thought that has been haunting me ever since." Andrew's expression shifted, the thought of his best friend stirring a deep sense of awareness within him. What were his words? He expressed that I am not merely Andrew's wife, that I embody something greater than that. I lingered for a moment, seeking to understand the depths of Andrew's response. "It's not that I'm displeased with him, but it stirred something within me. For so long, I have embraced the roles of wife and mother, yet in doing so, I seem to have lost touch with the essence of who I truly am. Now, I find myself at a crossroads, uncertain of how to rediscover that part of me." Andrew lingered in silence, the air thick with unspoken thoughts. The expression on his face held a depth that eluded my understanding. Uncertainty, worry, and perhaps a hint of pain. "I never intended for you to feel as though you were merely a wife," he finally admitted, his voice soft and intimate. "In all honesty, I've been so absorbed in the whirlwind of work and the kids that I've lost sight of reaching out to see how you are, to truly connect with you. Perhaps I haven't fully appreciated you, Laura." The sincerity in his voice pierced the air, and a soothing wave of relief enveloped me. It was a reaction that brought unexpected relief. It was a moment of tenderness, an intimate look into the soul of the man I had journeyed through life with. And in that moment, I understood that it wasn't just about finding myself again, it was about reconnecting with the essence of us. The days that unfolded were a haze of subtle yet meaningful transformations. Andrew and I shared a heartfelt conversation about everything, reflecting on our marriage, our roles, and our desires for the future. Though we lacked all the answers, we discovered something precious that had eluded us for a long time, a rekindled sense of understanding and respect for each other. There were no sweeping declarations or intense unveilings, yet it seemed as though we were embarking on a new beginning together. I had transcended the role of just being Andrew's wife. I was Laura, a woman embracing her unique essence, filled with longing and aspirations. Andrew and I discovered a deeper connection, engaging in conversations that once felt too delicate or challenging to explore. We shared moments of joy and sorrow, confronting the tender realities we had both been hesitant to acknowledge. There were instances of palpable tension, yet intertwined within them were profound connections that rendered everything meaningful. We were rediscovering the essence of togetherness, not merely in title, but in the very depths of our connection. One evening, a week after our heartfelt exchange, I felt compelled to take a stroll. I craved a moment of solitude to reflect, to embrace the whirlwind of emotions that had unfolded so swiftly. The evening air carried a gentle coolness, while the sky was adorned with soft hues of pink and purple as the sun gracefully dipped below the horizon. As I wandered through the serene neighborhood, a gentle calm enveloped me, wrapping me in its soothing embrace. In that fleeting instant, it felt as though all burdens had been gently released, allowing a breath of freedom to wash over me. As I strolled past the familiar old park, memories washed over me, Andrew and I, lost in laughter on the swings, sharing our dreams and aspirations for what lay ahead. It was an odd yet soothing experience to find myself here once more, enveloped in the quietude away from the clamor of everyday existence. As I settled into the swing, my thoughts began to drift softly away. I am so much more than just a partner. I embody so much more than the role of a mother. I am Laura, a tapestry of experiences, woven together with my flaws, my longings, and my aspirations. The words lingered in my thoughts, and for the first time in ages, they resonated with a profound authenticity. There was only a profound sense of acceptance, free from shame or guilt. I found myself reflecting on Mark, on how his words had initially stirred something within me, yet ultimately illuminated a truth I had been overlooking for far too long. I found strength within myself, unbound by the perceptions of others. I was complete, just as I existed. I felt no anger towards Mark. In contrast, a deep sense of gratitude washed over me. He had unwittingly guided me to realize that I had been prioritizing others for far too long, and now it was my moment to embrace my own brilliance. As the twilight deepened, I rose from the swing and made my way homeward. A sense of liberation washed over me, as if I was stepping into a new chapter of my life, unafraid to fully embrace my true self. As I stepped through the threshold, I found Andrew seated at the kitchen table, anticipation radiating from him as he awaited my arrival. His eyes sparkled when he saw me, and in that moment, I felt an undeniable certainty that he was the one I had chosen, the one I loved. And yet, I felt a deep awareness that I had embraced my own essence in a way I never had before. In that moment, words felt unnecessary. Silence spoke volumes. The soft connection we shared conveyed so much more than words ever could. I discovered my own path, and he took his place beside me, offering support in ways that felt profoundly new. "I'm home," I whispered, my voice imbued with a newfound warmth. Andrew rose, approached me, and gently clasped my hand in his. "I understand," he murmured, his voice rich with tenderness. "I can feel it within me." And in that moment, I felt that the true transformation wasn't solely within me, it was in the connection we shared. We had discovered the beauty of evolving side by side, entwined in our journey. We discovered that love transcended mere roles and expectations. It was a journey of shared admiration, unwavering support, and the bravery to confront the deeper truths that lingered just below the surface. "I love you," I murmured, and it was more than just a phrase I had uttered countless times before. This moment carried a deeper significance. "I love you too," Andrew whispered, enveloping me in a tender embrace. As I lingered in his embrace, a profound realization washed over me. Genuine growth arises from the acceptance of one's true self, from the courage to be honest with both oneself and those cherished in our lives. Even when life takes unexpected turns, it is often in those unanticipated moments, a heartfelt conversation with a friend or a genuine moment of introspection, that we find the potential for transformation and beauty. As we journeyed onward side by side, a deep sense of anticipation filled the air, signaling the start of something beautifully fresh. Not a new chapter in the conventional way, but a fresh perspective, a deeper appreciation, and above all, a profound love, rooted in our true selves rather than the personas we believed we needed to embody. And I felt, in the depths of my being, that we would find our way through. Beyond just fine. We would find our strength, both in unity and in solitude, as we have come to accept and cherish our true self.
Thank you for listening, have fun and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to update the latest stories.